Hey, what is going on, Pisces? Butch here. I'm going to do your April read. It's from now to the end of April. It is a general read, so it may not resonate with everyone. It is for your Sun, Moon, Rising, and your Venus. For all you cross watchers, roles can be reversed. Always feel free to comment down below. I'm going to be using the Wild Reflections Tarot. And again, I know I've said this before. If you don't know what your moon, rising, and Venus is, most people I gather may already know. A lot of people don't, though. And it's very interesting stuff that you should really look into if you're interested. Go to a natal chart calculator, NATAL. Just Google it. I believe they're free. Everyone I've seen is free. If you see one that charges money, know that there is free ones out there that are very good. Just gives you a little more in depth into your, not only tell you what your sun, moon, rise, or your sun, moon, rising, and Venus is. It'll also give you more in depth look into your houses. It's very interesting. But anyway, check it out. I highly recommend it if you haven't already. If you have, you know what I mean. With all that being said, let's get it. Universe, what messages do we have for Pisces for April 2025? What can we see for Pisces? So the first thing, Pisces, I feel like there's definitely a really strong energy coming your way. For some of you, this may be someone you already just met. For others, this is coming in. And like I said, this is for the month of April, so it is for the whole month. But there's definitely this really strong energy. I feel like you felt it the moment you met this person. And energy doesn't lie. People can lie. Facial expressions sometimes can lie. Body language can lie. Energy doesn't lie. Like you felt something with this person. It was something real. Trust your intuition. Pisces are highly intuitive. Don't doubt yourself. It's a gift, so use it. But I mean, you definitely feel it. And I feel like with this person, even though, like I said, for some of you, this may be someone you're already friends with or someone new coming in, but I feel like it starts off in a friendship. I feel like you really build this strong bond in this friendship. And not just a strong bond, but I feel like it's a lifelong bond. With that Two of Cups. I feel like you have a long future with this person. Now, I feel like with this person, even though you feel this energy, even though your intuition is telling you you're right, I feel like with this person that there is a feeling of resistance. I feel like they're hiding how they really feel. knowing when someone really cares about you and feeling that energy, it's hard to misinterpret that. So with this person, the way they act, it comes off a little different. I feel like they're kind of keeping things from you. Now, I don't feel like it's malicious. I don't feel like it's ill intent. I'm not getting any of that kind of negative energy at all with that. I feel like this person's been hurt. And I feel like it is something that they still deal with. Now, when I say that, I don't feel like it's so much the person, like they still want that person, or, there's still some unresolved feelings with that person. I feel like they're still dealing with the hurt of it. Like, I feel like this person betrayed them. In one way or another, they betrayed them. And I feel like it still has them in their head. Late nights anxiety with that Nine of Swords, not being able to sleep. I mean, we have the Ten of Swords. That's betrayal. That's the one. When I see that, I think of betrayal, and it is someone from their past. It is a past person, and I feel like I said, I don't feel like they're necessarily over it. Like, their hurt still hurts. But one thing is clear, is when they're with you, they feel something. And it is something strong. I mean, I feel like you're inspiring this person. Like, you're an inspiration to this person, almost like a godsend, like an angel. You just came at the right time for this person. You inspire this person, and I feel like they're falling for you. And even more so, I feel like they're falling very quickly. With the Ace of Wands, that inspiration, and then that Ace of Cups, that new love. With the Fool, I mean, I feel like this person's falling fast. This person doesn't just, they're feeling love for you. And it's not just about feeling love. I feel like they're falling in love with you. Your energy just sets them free. It frees them from that pain. It's nurturing. They feel this nurturing energy when they're with you. And they think about you and only you. When they're with you and they're thinking about you, even when they're not with you, they're thinking about you. It's been a long time since they felt happy. Excited for tomorrow. And you give that to them. You're bringing these huge changes into this person's life. It's causing this huge transformation. So when I say it feels like they're hiding something from you, I feel like they are. And I don't feel like they're doing it on purpose. Like I said, it's not a red flag. I feel like this person's going through a transition, and I feel like your presence is only helping that. Big changes, huge transformation. I feel like you're helping this person see the other side. Sometimes when we're jaded in love, we feel like all love is jaded, or all love is toxic. And then we meet that one person that helps us let that go, that idea. With the Hangman, they're seeing it differently. Not only are they embracing this, they're loving it. This person, I feel like they fantasize about you. They fantasize about being with you, and not just in the physical sense, but there is a little bit of that. We have the Knight of Wands. So it's not all pure dreams. But I feel for the most part, they dream of a future with you. And in that dream, they're happy. I love this tarot card. I know I said this before, and you probably heard me say it before, but like it's the Sun card, and it just this card embodies everything you would think about when you think of the Sun. I mean, this woman, you know, she came outside and she didn't even put any shoes on or slippers or socks. You know, barefoot in her house coat. Don't even care. Just banging on her gong. I love that. You know, so I know there is. I mean, we have the moon, Pisces energy. You know, I don't let your imagination get the best of you. I mean, I feel like this person has a lot to say, and they're going to say it. You know, this person will fight for this. They're not going to just let it slip through their fingers. I just feel like I said, they're still dealing with some residual pain, but your presence is only making that better. You know, you're healing them and you don't even know it. That connection you feel, that energy you feel, they feel it too. And positive energy is such a presence. You know, it heals us. You know, and not to be overly mushy, but I feel like you've healed their heart. Because I feel like this person has a lot of love to give, and anybody that screwed them over in the past, they lost out on something big. You know, with the Chariot, I feel like this is something that's definitely moving forward. With that Two of Cups, like I said, I mean, I feel like this is a lifelong connection. You know, I feel like this is it. You know, with that King of Cups, I mean, this is someone that this is a very emotionally mature energy. This is not someone that, you know, you showed up for and you helped out or you made them feel better and they're just grateful to you for it. Um, I'm not saying they're not. I just feel like it's eternally grateful. It's not just like, you know, you helped me out. I feel obligated at some point to, you know, see this through. It's not that. You know, this is someone that they just enjoy your energy. They enjoy how they feel when they're with you. You know, I feel like this is someone that's coming out of their shell. You know, I feel like you haven't got the whole truth, or you won't get the whole truth in the beginning, but the truth will come out. And I feel like it comes with a very happy ending. Like I said, this is someone I feel like just really a deep connection. You know, someone that makes you laugh, someone that makes you feel better. I mean, that's the thing. What we put out, we get back. And I feel like you put out this healing energy. You put out this very comfortable, nurturing energy. And this person's picking up on it and they're returning that. You know, they will return that. I mean, you're not just the love they needed, you're the love they wanted. You know, it's slow in the beginning. Like I said, I feel like this person's been hurt, and I feel like that they still remember what that feels like. It's something usually a lot of people we have a hard time letting go of, whether we were cheated on, or abused, or you know, just neglected, or whatever it may be. Once that's done to you, especially if it's done over a long period of time, it's almost like a healing process. You know, and as I'm saying that, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing, you know, you get the hands out and you get the tree and it's blossoming, this little tree, and it's in the right hands, we blossom to what we're supposed to be. Anyway, we'll get into more into that in a minute. We have Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. We have some Gemini and Aquarius, some Sagittarius, some Leo. We also have Capricorn as well. You know, in the wrong hands, the bad things happen. You know, and that's the thing. I had a dog, and I found him. I was out one day walking out at the park, walking through this park that we had in town, and this guy was sitting there, and he had this one big dog, and he was like, it was a Staffordshire Terrier, a pit bull, and he was all like, you could tell he was probably been a fighting dog. And the guy had a puppy with him, and same type Staffordshire Terrier, just a little puppy, just a little cute little fella. So I got to talk to him. I said, you know, beautiful dog, and he's like, yeah. And I was like, you know, do you mind if I hold your dog? So I picked the dog up, and instant connection as soon as I picked him up. And I said, you know, would you be interested in selling the dog? Because in my head, I'm thinking that dog's going to grow up to be a fighting dog. Because that's what the father looked like. He was all cut up. You can tell. And he's like, no, he's going to be a moneymaker. You know, I can't sell him. I can't sell him cheap. He said, I'm going to make money off him. And I said, well, okay. I said, how will we negotiate? And he said, well, for the right price, I can let him go. I was like, all right, so what's your price? He's like, $1,500. You can have him. I said, well, listen. I said, I have $1,200 on me. You know, I can go to the bank right now, get you $1,200. I said, but, you know, I want it in writing, you know, and I want his paperwork. And he said, okay, $1,200. You got a deal. So I take the dog home. And I'll tell you, that was the best dog I've ever owned. And I've had a lot of pets. I've had quite a few dogs, like my parents and stuff. He was the most loving and caring thing. You know, he was absolutely the most friendly. I remember my nieces and nephews used to, you know, bug him and pull his tail and stuff, and he just didn't care. You know, and like, if a dog came in the yard, he'd instantly, you know, like when I went over to my brother's house, he would instantly cut off the dog. This one particular time, I remember this dog came in, and he just got between the dog and the kids. Instantly, just instinct. He was my best friend. I dated this one girl, and she ended up being a terrible person. Well, to me anyway, and at the time. I mean, hopefully she's grown since then, but my dog never liked her. He used to nibble on her shoes, and he never bit in the shoes and stuff. He just didn't like her. He had a sixth sense, and I trusted him. With most people, with her, I just thought he didn't like it. Maybe he just didn't like that I was giving her attention or whatever. But anyway, it ended up she was a really not a good person. So he was right. But he was a great dog. Great dog. Very protective, but not aggressive. Very loving. He used to sleep with me all the time. I used to make him sleep in his dog bed, and by the morning I woke up and he was in bed with me, like every time. You know, just my best friend. The point of this story, I know you're like, get to the point. The point is, if he would have grew up with that guy, and that I don't know that guy, I just, from my intuition, he and then he said he made money off it. So I feel like I'm not making a judge. I'm not judging this person, but from the look of his dog and my dog, they had a completely different life. And it's because of whose hands they were in. In his hands, he might have grew up 5 years down the road and look the exact same as his dad. But with me, he never had to live that life. And that's what I mean. In the right hands, you can go anywhere. In the wrong hands, you may not go anywhere. It was actually funny because this was years ago. And it was just before, I don't know if you guys know that dog show, Dog Whisperer with Caesar Milan. And he loves pit bulls. Well, my pit bull, his pit bull's name is Junior. And my pit bull's name was Caesar. And my name is Junior. It was very, I never even heard of the guy. And it was just really strange to me that, like, his name is Caesar, and he has a dog named Junior, my name is Junior, and I have a dog named Caesar, and then it just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking too deeply into that. But yeah. And you see it all the time. You know, I see dog rescues all the time. I'm really into those type of shows. Because I just love when a dog gets a, you know, or any pet really gets a second home. Sometimes they have horses and stuff, and I always grew up, we always had horses. Not because I was rich and fancy, just because I grew up in PEI and dragging these big giant buckets, mesh buckets that they haul behind these workhorses, and they collect Irish moss. So almost every family had at least one, you know, workhorse. And if you've ever seen a workhorse, they're huge. They're way bigger than a normal horse. Like, you don't ride these things. Like, they're massive monsters. I tried to ride them a few times. They don't like it. It's funny because they're so big, and a regular horse doesn't mind it, but a big giant horse like that, he used to go, we used to have one called Cup Cup. My uncle he names them weird things. But anyway, I remember getting on his back, and we had all these woods in our backyard, and there was a path that the horses used to go, and sometimes they go through, like, because they get horse flies really bad, so they'd run through, and the branches would kind of just blow everything off them, because it was, like, just narrow enough for them to get through. And I remember I got on him one time, and he instantly darted right for that tunnel, and I was like, yeah, this is not going to be good, and knocked me right off. I'll post pictures someday. He's a beautiful horse. Just a big bugger. He was like the Arnold Schwarzenegger of horses. And he was like a brown, like a tan brown with like a blonde mane. He was really pretty. But yeah, very friendly. Like, when you're out in the yard working, he'd always follow you around and stuff, but they didn't like to be ridden. And we had a few of them, and I never saw one of them that liked it. So it's strange. Maybe it's just the way your placement on their back. Maybe it hurts them or something. I don't know. Go way off topic. Be good. Take care. Stay safe.